Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be back with this new video, and in this video I'm going to talk about the current state of the world, ascension timelines, and also intense fatigue. So the first thing I'm going to mention is, of course, this kind of intense fatigue or exhaustion that we might be feeling, and this has occurred approximately since the beginning of this autumn. A lot of people are very tired, and it's true that the autumn season is always a season where we are really invited to go within and to slow down and to regenerate, because I've also, experienced throughout the years that during this season I really need to regenerate completely. But this year, because of what is happening globally, because of the current energies, because everything is really hectic, there might be even more intensity in that kind of really intense fatigue that we might be feeling. And so this is really a call from our bodies to slow down, to take it easy, and most of all, really to take the time Thing that we don't always do, because we are always busy, we are always called, for this or for that, or doing this or doing that. We all have obligations in our lives, and sometimes really the body sends the message that it is time now to rest. And I have felt that about 2 weeks ago. I felt suddenly completely exhausted, like really tired. And I was feeling that my body was sending me these messages and almost saying, like, if you don't calm down now and rest, you're going to be sick. So I said, okay, I better, slow down and really rest. And by resting, I mean also doing nothing. So I just rested for a couple of days, just lying down, doing nothing, listening to music, and I really felt that it was so beneficial for my body. I really also felt it was very beneficial for my soul, because I kept receiving a lot of things, also during this time, where I was really calm and resting. So some of us might also have, symptoms of illness currently. So that also is the body sending a message to us. So illnesses are often, messages also to tell us that we are about to transform something deep within. So being sick is always about transformation. It always pinpoints something that we are not aware of, that we need to be aware of in order for it to be transformed and healed. So all we have to do is really be in this kind of state of acceptance for what is. So whether it's because we are feeling tired or we are feeling sick, and just honor our bodies, because our bodies are really sucking in a lot of stuff in these days. A lot of things going on, obviously, in the collective, and the energies are really intense. So very important just to take the time. And because there is this overflow of collective energies, and also because the collective mind field is crazy right now, our nervous system really needs to slow down. So that's something I really felt also when I was extremely tired. I felt my nervous system was, too much pressure was put on the nervous system, and it really needed to balance out and slow down and calm down so it could really heal itself. And I also had this image of the oak and the reed. So maybe this fable, this famous fable about the oak and the reed. So the oak is really this kind of powerful tree, really deeply grounded into the earth, very solid, but also very rigid in a way. And the oak in the fable is kind of full of pride and kind of mocks the reed, saying, every time there's wind, you kind of bend down with the wind and you have no strength. And then of course comes the storm, and the oak falls down and the reed is still there, because the reed could actually flow with the wind instead of resisting the wind, whereas the oak just fell down because it was too rigid. So this is also something that we can really consider right now, is that we need to be more like this reed and not like the oak, like not this this rigid energy where we are not going with the flow, because things are changing very fast and will be changing faster and faster in the coming years as well. We really need to find this kind of adaptability and flexibility that the reed has, in order really to be more in the flow and to experience more fluidity and ease in our lives. I'm now going to talk a little bit about the state of the world. As we know, the state of the world is also in a very tough place right now. We all have been feeling that since the past weeks when it all started. I'm mentioning, probably a thing that everyone is talking about right now, which is Third World War. And even though we might be disconnected from the news or social media, we all felt that kind of, ripple in the collective. And I know also that when it started, there were a lot of very, very horrible images circulating on the internet or on the news. I haven't watched them, but I was told about them. And I immediately felt that, again, there was really this attempt to hijack human consciousness, in order to bring humanity into the most negative timelines of war. So we can really see this like a form of propaganda and a form of, of manipulation in the end for mind control. And this mind control is happening through really triggering certain buttons that we all have, which is simply trauma and fear. So trauma induces fear, and when a human being is in fear, then he can be, of course, much more manipulated than when he is in a state of consciousness that is, more aligned. So through that, what I'm really feeling is that this is almost like the last test for humanity. Are we going to, to go that path again, or are we going to realize that there is a kind of pattern, for the last thousands of years on planet Earth? Because this is not new. This has always been the way they have operated to manipulate human consciousness. And this is also what I wanted to mention, because people are asking, are we going to go through another world war? Is this really Third World War happening? I just want to say, Third World War is already here, and it has been here for quite some time now. We might even say that this World War is really ongoing since thousands of years, because this war is mainly a war on human consciousness through psychological, emotional, even astral means, energetic means. It is a war on human consciousness. So it's not new, but I would say that there was a tipping point also for this Third World War as I see it, and that was on the 11th of September 2001. That's when we really kind of shifted into something different, and as we can see right now, there are still reminiscences of that period. So that's really interesting to see how history repeats itself always, and also the fact that this whole war on human consciousness, it actually started with Atlantis. So these two opposing forces, light and dark, the war started in Atlantis, and that's also what provoked the end of Atlantis, the fall. And since then, we always had, cycles of repetition of these wars, of traumas, fear, mind control, etc., etc. So some say that we are now in the worst period, the age of darkness. I would say that the highest point for the age of darkness was actually the Second World War, because I remind you that during the Second World War there were tens of millions of people who actually lost their lives, in every part of the planet. There was, of course, the Holocaust. There was also, of course, atomic bombs that were dropped. So that was really we were deep into the age of darkness during the Second World War. And now what I'm feeling is that we're actually coming out of this age of darkness. And the way we can perceive that we are actually coming out of this age of darkness is also through what is happening with the Earth's magnetic field, actually. We are seeing that the Schumann resonance is rising, the frequency of the Earth is rising, because it's receiving these powerful and high frequency impulses from the Sun and from the central Sun. And so what it induces the awakening of consciousness, which is unavoidable. So humans are going to wake up more and more, and probably going to realize also how they have been manipulated through these attempts really to hijack human consciousness and to use human consciousness to create the worst case scenarios, the worst timelines in a way. But when we take our power back, and that's what's really interesting, is that this attempt to manipulate is also a way of awakening our consciousness and also realizing that we are spiritual sovereign beings and that we are the ones who decide where we are going, in this reality, not anything exterior from ourselves. And we can also see war as a disease, and when there are symptoms of disease, as we are experiencing right now, it is, as I mentioned before, disease, illness is all about healing, transformation, so the toxins have to come out. And so what we are experiencing right now is really the toxins coming out so that we can heal the war energy on this planet that has been going on for so long in a way. Another thing we need to remember is that we are co-creators in this reality. And I wanted to mention an experience I had this weekend. I actually fasted for 2 days and I meditated a lot. And during one of my meditations, I had a very deep experience and also had a vision that was going with it. So maybe I'll try to post something and find an image that looks like what I experienced. But I was really perceiving how in our human reality, we are so limited. I was seeing the human consciousness like in a bubble or in a box, like closed and so limited, although all around it there is this quantum field of all possibilities, these infinite possibilities that exist. And that field, that quantum field, that's who we truly are. And when we tap into that field, then we realize how we are powerful as creators and co-creators of this reality. So I think this is something that we are going to be able to integrate more and more in the coming months and years, which is really to tap more and more into this quantum field of infinite possibilities and start to release all these limitations that we might have in our human reality. Because even though sometimes, we might say we are probably a little bit more aware of like the human consciousness, the human global consciousness as light workers, but even though we're a little bit more aware, we are still very limited, very, very limited in our reality, in our daily life, our daily routine, and the thoughts we have and the beliefs we have and everything, that we are made of. Although when we tap into that infinite quantum field, then suddenly, I was really feeling like this opening and like this, and a lot of joy, simply just a lot of joy to see that it's all just a game in the end. So to the question towards which timelines is humanity going, I would answer, we are going to the timelines where you actually are right now. Because you are the creator of your reality. You are the one deciding on what timeline you are going to go to. So this is really something that we might ask ourselves right now is, am I connecting more to the negative timelines where there's this fall of humanity, destruction, like ego consciousness reality? Or are we connected to the highest ascension timelines, which is really about awakening, evolving, and really reaching also Christ consciousness, because humanity is really also heading towards that. We are heading towards embodying Christ consciousness. In order to connect to those highest ascension timelines, we also need to be aware of our energy. Where is our energy going? Is it dispersed? Because currently it's so hectic, we might be all over the place, because, that's really what's happening when our energy is dispersed. We are all over the place, and we really need to gather back our energy and center ourselves, and in a way be one already with ourselves, with our own energy, in order then to be one with the world and the cosmos. So this is also something that we need to focus on right now. Really concentrate our energy on what is essential for us, and not let our energies be dispersed by information, by obligations or thoughts, or the mind going crazy, or the hectic energy is happening, and really, be in this form of centeredness and alignment, which allows us to use our energy in a much more efficient way, and to really point it in the direction that we wish to experience, and it's all quantum. Because when I was saying a couple of years back, the light has already won. Yes, it has already won. It has already happened. Ascension is already here. But the only thing that we are experiencing is how it, you know, it's like the road that leads to that. It's like you know, like all the connecting the dots, and the dots are really all these stages and these levels that we go through. And this doesn't mean that it's all going to be like a one straight line. Sometimes, you know, there will be turns. Sometimes it's going to be bumpy. Sometimes we have challenges. But we are slowly but surely going there. And it's really realizing that it is already there. It has already happened on the quantum level that allows us to experience it. And we allow ourselves then to be guided towards that reality that we are all going to experience on this earth one day. So I hope this was useful, and I will see you with another video very soon. Sat Nam, take care.